everybody and welcome back. It's part 3 of my birthday book haul, and I've gathered together all the things that I've got for this part of the book haul. I'm calling it Edward Marston Fest because the author is Edward Marston, and he is a British author that has got many series, historical fiction series on the go, and a very prolific writer, and I'd read quite a lot about him, so I was interested to see what we could collect from many of his series. So the first one I actually read, I already read this recently, is The Fair Maid of Bohemia, and this is part of his Elizabethan mystery series and the Bracewell mysteries. I'll just call him Thomas Bracewell, but he's not, is Nicholas, that's it, Nicholas. And this is about book 8, and I think that I've come to the conclusion from reading this that really this is his series. You do have to start at the beginning to get the most out of them, because I think they, you sort of miss some of the character development, I think, in these. That's what I've gathered from reading this. So I didn't manage to see any more of the Elizabethan mystery series while we were on holiday, but I got some of his others. Now, the Railway Detective. So he has got a Railway Detective series. This is Victorian historical fiction, and this is featuring Robert Colbeck, who is the railway detective. Back in the day, in the Victorian times, the constable was a senior person who had a lot more, how can we say, they did a lot more detective work, I think, than perhaps constables on the beat do these days. I think that's fair to say. Is that fair to say, David? He was a detective that was brought in when there were murders and various mysteries on the railway, where the railway constables, it was sort of outside their remit, or something that they needed to pass on to different departments, and then he comes and takes over. Now, David read this book 1 while we were away, and I'm really loving how David's getting into more fiction, because he's always a font of knowledge. He always read loads of non-fiction, but he's getting into fiction more recently, which I'm enjoying. And he read this and loved it. And while we were in Barter's books, there was a whole series. The whole series of this Railway Detective were there for £2 odd, £2.20, 30 each. But weren't sure if we're going to like it, so we only got book 1. So about 3 days later, we decided we'd go back, because he enjoyed it so much, and it's a series I do want to be reading. We'd go and get a few more. Well, they'd all gone. Complete lot had gone. So what we did manage to get, though, was the Omnibus, the Railway series Omnibus, books 1, 2 and 3. So that's the Railway Detective, the Excursion Train and the Railway Viaduct. So we've ended up with, an extra copy of the Railway Detective, but that's fine. Can trade that in for something. Yeah, David's already read book 2. So I've got some catching up with that series, but his series all seem to be set in a different time period of history, which is really interesting. It wouldn't do for them all to be the same time period, would it? So that's those. Then he's got a series called the Homefront Detective series, and this one's called Instrument of Slaughter. Now, I did make some notes about what period this was in, 1916, so Edwardian, I think it's Edwardian. This is the, let's have a look which one, there's so many series. The Homefront. Right, this is number 2. I didn't manage to get number 1. Number 1 is a bespoke murder. So this is number 2. So I've got to look out for bespoke murder. So this is the Homefront Detective series. I mean, they're really interesting covers. Yeah, he's a good writer. I'm looking forward to these. Then we have got this, now I've got to check again, sorry I have to keep checking, but there's that many different series. The Bow Street Rivals series, this one, and this is Shadow of the Hangman. And it says, best-selling author of The Railway Detective, the first call for the Bow Street Rivals. Now, that period of history, I love. This is in 1815. And when we got the Bow Street Runners in the UK, and I love that period of history. And the Bow Street Runners were like the first, how can we say, the constables were gentlemen of means, and sometimes a little portly, and shall we say not altogether fit, and they wouldn't be able to go running after baddies. So we ended up with the Bow Street Runners, and they were like, you know, there'd be a crime committed, they see somebody committing a crime, and they'll go chasing off and join one, you know, people would join in, and off they go chasing after the baddie. And it was just a period of British history that I really enjoyed at school. So I'm looking forward to this. I don't like the look that we've got this here noose on the front. But yes, that's another one of the series. So I'm just going to let you know what the series are that he's currently got. So we've got the Bow Street Rival series, which is like this one. We've got the Railway Detective series. We've got the Captain Rawson series. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 5 in that series. We've got the Restoration series. So as you can see, they're all different periods of history. Then we've got the Bracewell murders. No, not the murders. See, I'm obsessed with murder, aren't I? The Bracewell mysteries. And that is the Fair Maid of Bohemia. But the first one of that is the Queen's Head. So I'm wanting to read those in order, because I felt that there was so much I've missed about the characters that it spoilt the story. Some of them you can read out of sequence, and it doesn't matter, but yes, I think you need to with his. And then we've got the Homefront Detective series. So we've got a lot of Edward Marston books to be collecting, so I'll be looking out for those around the charity shops and various places to see if I can get some more. So let me see if we can hold all these up for you. So there we go. So that's a bit of an Edward Marston fest. So that is the end of my part 3 of my birthday book haul. I had a fantastic time, fantastic birthday, loads and loads of books, and thank you for joining me. Bye for now.